Hey guys, I'm LT.
And I'm Dan.
And welcome to BHK Outdoors, your beacon for all things outdoors. So grab a cup of coffee.
Or chaga.
And for the next 30 minutes, let's get out there. If you have any questions or show ideas for Dan and I, you can email us at radio@bhkoutdoors.com. That's radio@bhkoutdoors.com. Today's program is brought to you by Blind Horse Knives. That's one of our companies, and we appreciate you guys going to www.blindhorseknives.com. Every time I get there, I stumble. It's like, it's some hard words.
I told you.
Anyway, guys, we got American-made knives right here, made in Ohio. So check us out at www.blindhorseknives.com. Hey, we got a great guest for you today. It is from the Nosler Bullet Company, and his name is Mason Payer. He is a friend of ours. We met him at the NRA show, became fast friends, and we're going to talk to him today about bullets, reloading, brass, just everything, or knife-wise, everything gun-wise. Because they even have their own line of rifles now, Dan.
Wow, I can't wait. I got one coming in the mail, right?
Well, we'll see. So, Mason, thanks for being with us today, buddy, and welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, no problem whatsoever. Hey, can you tell us a little bit about yourself before we get right into the company? Tell us kind of what you're doing, why you came to Nosler, and so on.
Well, I'm the Assistant Public Relations Director here at Nosler. Really nobody special, just an average guy that loves hunting and shooting in the outdoors, and just have a passion for shooting and bullets and ballistics and reloading, and just like sharing that with guys like you.
Oh, yeah. And Dan and I are major getting more into reloading. I've been reloading, and my father has for years. He's just now got the passion to start doing it, so this is something that is very much in the forefront for us, and we're excited to talk about reloading with you for sure. One of the first things, I guess, is tell us about Nosler. I know it's a very old company. I know you guys have been around for a while, but I don't know all the ins and outs.
Well, Nosler's located in Bend, Oregon, and it was founded in 1948 by John Amos Nosler. The inspiration for the company was he went on a moose hunt in 1946 with the bullets that were readily available at that time, and he wasn't really pleased with how they performed, so he decided to come up with his own. He created the partition bullet, which was invented in 1948, which coincided with the founding of the company, and it's still one of our most popular bullets today, over 60 years later.
Wow. So it's something that his reasoning for starting the company was just at the time there wasn't something that was performing the way he felt that it could, maybe?
Exactly. As modern smokeless cartridges evolved and continued to evolve, particularly in the 40s and 50s, rifles started firing their bullets at higher and higher velocities, and a simple lead core and copper jacket just weren't getting the job done. Basically, they couldn't hold up to those high velocities that the newer cartridges were able to produce, and so he came up with a better design in the partition bullet.
Wow. Hey, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to ask you a question you may not know the answer to, but what was the very first bullet that he made? What caliber?
It was a 30 caliber. I believe it was a 3180.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so that would have been shot out of what type of rifle?
He was using a 300 H&H Magnum, which is an older cartridge. It's based on the 375 case. Today, it's kind of in between a 30-06 and a 300 Win Mag, and it's actually kind of starting to come back around. It didn't go all the way away, but it kind of fell out of favor for a while, and a lot of guys are discovering new interest in it again.
Yeah, I went on a moose hunt a few years ago, and I used a Nosler bullet, and I was able to take that moose down, so that was probably one of my first tries at big game with a bullet. So I started to learn then that bullets are very important in your selection of what you're trying to kill.
Absolutely. When you really think about it, the bullet is what you're hunting with. A lot of guys put a lot of time and money in their rifle, but the bullet is really the part of the equation that does the job. And so if you're not using a premium bullet that is suited to the game that you're hunting, you're really shortchanging yourself.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why, I'm glad that I got a chance to meet you. So when I start in on this reloading adventure that I'm going to go on, I can talk to you and get some useful tips.
Anytime, that's what we're here for. Anyone's welcome to call us with any question they've got. Anytime, our customer service line is open from 8 to 4:30 Pacific time, Monday through Friday. And any question, the only stupid question is the one you don't ask. So we all started at the beginning at some time, and the only way to learn is to ask questions.
Well, that's where I'm at right now. I'd like to ask you, is there a pretty good savings in the amount of money I could save when I'm reloading my own?
There is and there isn't. The joke is that guys start out reloading to save money, and they end up shooting so much more that they never saved any money, and it kind of becomes its own hobby with all the assorted accessories. So, yes, you certainly can save money if you look on a cost per round basis. About 60% of the cost of a loaded cartridge of ammunition is in the brass case itself. And if you reload, you can get anywhere from 5 to 10 uses out of that case. So every time you're reloading, you're saving money. And particularly larger hunting calibers, some ammunition is fairly inexpensive. Other calibers of ammunition are very expensive, and so depending on what you're shooting, you can either save a little or a lot. It just depends on what cartridge you're reloading for.
Right. I would like to at least just have the ability to do it myself, whether or not I did it every time. I can see the benefits of just having stuff on hand so that I can put my own cartridges together, should I so desire.
Absolutely. You're not relying on the store to have it for you. You can make your own, and you can stock up on a few boxes of bullets and a couple packages of primers and some powder, and you're set. You can easily reload a few hundred rounds anytime you want.
Well, like you said, waiting on the stores to have exactly what you want, where if you're reloading, you probably have a bulk amount of the bullet that you want to shoot with the powder that you're wanting to shoot it with. So you probably can set your loads up more consistently than, say, buying it at the big box stores when you're going from place to place on, and just getting what they have available. And I know I'm guilty of that all my life as a kid growing up. The day before hunting season, you go to the Kmart or something and you buy a box of 20 bullets.
Correct. Yeah. Now's the time of the year. Spring, summer is the time to get ready for the fall hunting season. Now's the time to get your rifle ready, get your cartridges reloaded, or go to the store and get some, because they don't always have what you need, and the day before season is a bad time to find out that you can't find any ammunition.
Well, you're right, and I think what you said is very true about the reloading. It does start out as a money savings, but it does give you an opportunity to shoot more. I think since you're reloading your own product, I think you're not as afraid to use up what you have on hand and have to go buy more. So you do shoot more, which in turn makes you a better shot, which in turn hopefully makes you use less ammo when the time and that big buck's standing there and you got buck fever. Your shot placement, it's a repetition motion because you've done it all year.
Absolutely, and there's a whole nother degree of involvement in the sport. It's even more fulfilling to take an animal with a cartridge that you loaded yourself.
Oh, you're absolutely right. That's the same way we started with making knives. We field dressed our game with our own product, and honestly, that's why my dad and I started reloading. Was exactly what you said. We wanted to be able to take the game with bullets that we, in a sense, made. Exactly.
And the other advantage is you can load bullet and cartridge combinations that aren't necessarily available commercially. What you see on the store is sort of the most popular bullet weights and the most popular cartridges. However, there's a whole other broad spectrum of bullets that may perform better for your particular use than what you can get off the shelf. And when you load your own, you have that flexibility to use any bullet you desire, any powder, provided you use good published data. You've got a much larger variety of bullets that you can use to suit to your game. Yeah, I know my experience from shooting black powder.
it was fun just to have the ability to work up the bullet that worked best in the gun and what powder charge worked the best in it. So I can't wait to do the same thing with reloading. You know, it sounds like it's probably the same kind of game.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't understand that every rifle is going to have a preference for one particular load, and there's no real way to predict what that's going to be. And so with reloading, you can practice a little bit of trial and error, always, of course, staying within safe parameters. But you can test out different variables, different powders, different charge weights, different bullets, different seating depths, until you tailor that load to perfectly match your rifle to where you're getting the absolute utmost accuracy possible out of your individual rifle.
Right, that sounds like that's a lot of fun to work that up. You know, it's like another hobby. So
Yeah.
and I can't wait to do it.
It is.
Wow.
It is a lot of fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, and the problem is you'll find one load you like, and then you'll say, well, maybe I can do a little bit better with this other powder, and then you start all over again. So it might never end. You can either settle on one, or if you're like most of us, you just keep tinkering.
Yeah, it's a never stopping thing. I was telling Dan that I use I just have a single stage loader, and for me it's just you turn the radio on, you go down there, I load one bullet at a time kind of thing, but it is just a relaxing, enjoyable little hobby. You know, if I load 50 bullets in one evening, it's just a fun time to do, and I find it just relaxing just to sit there and look at that brass and stuff and keep going.
Absolutely. Yeah, sometimes I'll just set up and I might just size my cases one night. You know, maybe takes 20 minutes. I don't even have to do it all at once. You can just do one step at a time and take your time, and it is relaxing. It's a time just to focus on one thing, and it's nice because it gives you the instant gratification of when you're done, you've got a completed round that you made, and it's a good feeling.
Yeah, I agree with you. Hey, before we really get into like bullets and sizing, I know that you guys make your own brass. How important is the brass? Because I know that many places sell brass, and the prices are from very affordable to quite expensive. How important is the brass to the performance?
There's degrees of how important it is. It really depends on how accurate you're trying to build your round. But I like to think of the brass really as the foundation of the cartridge. I mean, it really is the cartridge. There's the brass, the primer, the powder, and the bullet. And everything gets used up except the brass. And when you start out with quality brass, one of the advantages is you're going to get more loadings per piece of brass. So even though you spend a little bit more at the beginning, you're going to save money over the lifetime of the brass because you're going to be able to load it several more times when you have quality brass. And like anything else, when you start out with a quality product, it's just easier to work with, gives you more consistent loads, more consistent accuracy. One of the beauties of our brass is we've already done a lot of the prep that some guys do themselves at home, and we've done it for you. So when you buy a box of our brass, those 50 or 25 or 100 pieces of brass, they've already been weight sorted. They all weigh the same. We've chamfered and deburred the necks, which makes it easier to load. They've been trimmed to length and sized. We've trued up the flash holes and basically just made sure they're ready to go. And you don't even need to run them through your size die the first time around. You can just go straight to loading, priming, and dropping your powder charge and seating your bullet.
That sounds good, and I think you bring up a point. Although you may pay a little more right there on the front end, you get 5 to 10 usages as maybe opposed to 2 to 5. You're going to get maybe even up to twice as much time out of your brass as you would some of the lesser quality brass, I guess, for a sense. So I think it brings up a good point of, you know, it's just like anything. We'll go out and spend $900 on a rifle and then shoot a $10 box of bullets through it. So it's kind of like if we're willing to step up to this next level, we probably can get so much more quality out of our rifle and our hunting experience for sure.
Exactly. Yep, I'd much rather have good ammo and a cheap rifle rather than the other way around.
Well, that's a good thing to think about there. Very good. Well, hey, Mason, we need to take a commercial break. So, guys, we'll be right back with Mason Payer of the Nosler Bullet Company, and we'll have some more questions for him, and thank him very much for sticking right with us. So we're going to go to a commercial break. We'll be back in about a minute. Hey, guys, I'm LT.
And I'm Dan.
And we're with Self-Reliance Illustrated.
.com.
Well, I wasn't going to say .com right there. I was just going to announce. Okay. You can check the magazine out at selfrelianceillustrated.com. Come on, you got to have something. I can't do the whole commercial.
What are you doing? You're just sitting over there telling me, like, okay, go.
You have 30 seconds to
I
tell
got 30
them about
seconds.
the
Hey,
magazine.
go to selfrelianceillustrated.com. It's awesome. It's cool. You're going to learn how to start fires and water stuff and everything.
Hey, guys, I'm LT.
And I'm Dan.
And we're with Blind Horse Knives. You can check our knives out at www.blindhorseknives.com. Hey, Dan, why don't you sing the website for him?
Sing it?
Sing it.
www.blindhorseknives.com.
Man, if that doesn't...
www.blindhorseknives.com.
Okay, and if he was to sing it in key, would it make you go look at the website? blindhorseknives.com, guys. Thanks for listening. Yeah, listening. And we're back with Mason Payer from the Nosler Bullet Company. And we just got finished talking to him about the brass and the importance of the brass that has to do with your actual performance of your rifle and bullet. So let's get back into talking about these bullets, Dan.
Right, yeah, I'd like to have you point out to some of the listeners out there what the difference is in the bullet shapes.
So you've got different bullets. If we're talking just rifle bullets, you've got different bullets for different types of rifles. So the most common are what's called a spitzer, which is just a fancy word for a pointy tip. And then you've got a round nose. Now, round nose were designed for rifles with a tubular magazine. So say a lever action, Grandpa's 30-30. You need a round nose bullet because when those cartridges are in the magazine, the tip of the bullet is resting on the primer of the cartridge in front of it. And so if you had a pointy bullet in there or a spitzer, you could potentially have it detonate the cartridge in front of it, which would result in a pretty catastrophic situation where you've got rounds going off inside your magazine. So that's why you see round nose bullets. Those are for the tubular magazine rifles such as a 30-30. But most bullets today are a spitzer shape because most guys are using bolt action rifles. And so a spitzer shape just makes the bullet a little more aerodynamic, makes it fly through the air a little bit better, just overcome wind resistance that much better. So that's the main reason for the differences in shape.
Well, that's pretty cool. I didn't know some of that stuff, so...
So the ones that you're saying, like the Spitzer style bullet, are you getting more yardage because of the shape over, let's say, your 30-30 lever gun? I mean, are you going to get performance? Is there really a huge difference in it?
There can be. There's degrees of how important that is. You're starting to get into what we were talking about, a ballistic coefficient. So a sleeker bullet is going to fly through the air. It's able to overcome the air resistance a little bit better than say a round nose or a flat nose bullet. And so there's a lot of variables at play, but if you took two bullets of the same weight and fired them at the same velocity, the one with the sleeker shape or the higher ballistic coefficient is going to fly flatter, as we say. So it's going to be able to maintain its speed over a longer distance, and it'll have a flatter trajectory than the blunter shaped bullet, which is going to slow down faster due to air resistance. Choosing a bullet weight has a lot to do with which cartridge you're going to be firing it out of and what you're trying to do with the bullet. Basically, what size of game you're trying to hunt. And so kind of a basic rule of thumb is the larger the game, the heavier the bullet you're going to want to use. So if you look at, say, a common caliber such as 30 or 308 caliber, there's a broad range of cartridges that fit that size of bullet. You can go anywhere from a 308 all the way up to a 300 Win Mag or a 300 Ultra Mag. And so there's nearly 1,000 feet per second difference in speed between the slowest and the fastest 30 caliber cartridges.
Wow, that's a lot.
And so a bullet that will work well in a slower cartridge, such as say a 165 grain bullet in a 308, if you put that in say a 300 Ultra Mag or a 300 Win Mag, you're going to be pushing it really, really fast, and really much faster than it was necessarily designed for. And so when you get up to a bigger cartridge like that, you're going to want to use a heavier bullet. That heavier bullet's actually going to fly flatter over longer distances. Even though it starts out a little bit slower, it's going to maintain its speed much better. And then in terms of game, you want to pick a bullet that's big enough to hold together and penetrate deep into the vitals of the game animal you're using. So you want to use a heavier bullet for, say, elk and moose than you might necessarily use for smaller game like deer.
So you also have to figure on how far you're going to be shooting at these animals too. I mean, you have to consider that as well.
Correct. You got to think about how far do you plan to shoot. Are you hunting in open country where you might need to take a little bit longer shots and you need some flatter trajectory? Or are you going to be hunting on a stand in thick woods where the longest shot you might get is 50 or 75 yards and your trajectory really isn't going to be an issue? You can use a heavier bullet that's going to provide a little bit more thump when you hit your animal and potentially lead to a shorter recovery.
Well, I didn't know all that stuff.
No, so Mason, it is possible to over bullet your gun, I guess. If let's say in Ohio and West Virginia, where Dan and I hunt, 50, 100-yard shots, fairly decent-sized whitetail, we could get too much a bullet for that situation in a sense, right?
You can use, it's hard to overdo it. Basically what you could do is you'd use a bullet that's heavier than you need. At shorter ranges, it's less of an issue. It's more the other way around when guys will use too light of a bullet for what they're trying to do. Usually going too heavy isn't as much of a problem as using too light.
Okay. So that's something to consider. And again, I hadn't even thought of it that way. A lot of times, again, I shoot a 30-06 for years and years and years. I go to the box store, I buy what they had in stock. I went deer hunting, So
that's kind of what I did too, because I worked up my archery equipment, I worked up my black powder equipment, but not knowing enough or being educated enough in the bullets and the ballistics and things like that, I've yet to try, playing around with my bullets.
When I think some of the information that Mason's given us today is going to help us look into making our bullets and our rifles perform much, much better.
Right, and that's one of the most common questions we get, and it's something we're happy to help people with anytime. If you're getting ready to buy a new rifle or trying to develop a load for your rifle, or maybe you're going on a hunt, folks are free to call us anytime, and we'll help you pick the right bullet for what you're looking to do. You can get a hold of us at nosler.com. You can send us an email, or you can call us anytime. Our phone number is 800-285-3701, and just ask for customer service. We'll be more than happy to help you pick the right bullet for the job that you're going to be doing.
Fantastic. Hey, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with Mason from the Nosler Bullet Company in just a minute. They have a line of rifles that we want to talk to him about. So, guys, we're going to be back in just about 1 minute. Thanks for listening. Hey, guys, I'm LT.
And I'm Dan.
Hey, Dan, Mike said we had to do a commercial.
You did?
Yep. What do you want to do it on?
Knives.
Okay. Hey, guys, check out www.blindhorseknives.com. Dan and I own the company, and we sure do like talking to you about our knives, don't we, Dan?
Yes, we do.
Mikey, is that good enough?
No.
No?
No.
What did he said, like 10 seconds to kill?
No.
All right, www.blindhorseknives.com. We'll see you there. Hey guys, I'm LT.
And I'm Dan.
And we're with BHK Outdoors. Check out our website at www.bhkoutdoors.com. Just recently put up a whole bunch of new products I think you might be interested in. What do you think?
Absolutely.
That's absolutely, that's all you got.
Well, you didn't lead me into it, right? You dingy.
You said you're the man. You're the
I am the man, but I'm the talent. You're supposed to say, hey.
BHKOutdoors.com. Beard, long hair, and tattoo. Hey guys, I'm LT.
And I'm Dan.
And we're with Self-Reliance Illustrated.
.com.
Well, I wasn't going to say .com right there. I was just going to announce. Okay, you can check the magazine out at selfrelianceillustrated.com. Come on, you got to have something. I can't do the whole commercial.
What are you doing? You're just sitting over there telling me, like, okay, go.
You have 30 seconds to tell them about the magazine.
Hey, go to selfrelianceillustrated.com. It's awesome. It's cool. You're going to learn how to start fires and water stuff and everything.
Okay, guys, we're back with Mason Pear from the Nosler Bullet Corporation. Not only do they make all the stuff for reloading, I believe they do have boxes of bullets you can buy directly from them, but they also make rifles. And one of the things that we want to talk to him before the end of the day is talking to him about those rifles, right, Dan?
Absolutely. So I'm excited about it because I guess out in the backwoods, because I didn't know you made rifles.
I mean, this is new to me too, and I don't know if you know it, Mason, Dan, and I like rifles a lot. So
yeah. So hey, just saying. I'm just saying. All right. So tell us about it.
Well, we do make our own semi-custom rifles. We've been making them since about 2005. We like to say we've been making rifles for just about as long as we've been making bullets, because to make good bullets, you need to test them a lot, and testing bullets wears out rifles. So we've been building rifles for a long time, but since 2005, we've been building them for the consumer market. We've got 5 different rifles available at this time. They're all based on our same Model 48 action, which is a push feed action. We basically took our favorite features of several different actions that were available and combined them all into one. And we like to build using rifles, much like BHK knives. Our rifles are designed to be used. They're hunting rifles, but hunting rifles that provide match grade accuracy. They're made 100% in America, and all the final assembly, fit and finish is done here in our factory. And every single rifle is tested before it leaves our door. And we have an accuracy guarantee on every one of our rifles, and we make sure it shoots to that guarantee before we ship it out to you.
Fantastic. Is there a separate website for that, or is it all in the same place?
They're all in the same place. We're currently working on updating all of our websites, but particularly our rifle website. But we do have a separate rifle catalog, so if you call to ask for a catalog, be sure to let us know if you want a rifle catalog or a bullet catalog. Either one.
Okay. Well, hey, I was going to say, I'm going to ask right now, why don't you just send me a rifle catalog, because I want to see what all that stuff's about.
2 books, 2 catalogs. I need one too.
I'll be happy to.
Fantastic. Hey, guys, we've been very blessed today to have Mason with us. He is from the Nosler Bullet Company. You can reach him and or the company at nosler.com. The phone number is 800-285-3701. That is 800-285-3701. His name is Mason Pear, and he's a part of the team out there. Glad to talk to you. Sadly, we're out of time. Enjoyed it very much. What do you think, Dan?
I think it's awesome. I heard the word custom. I can see BHK on my gun.
I feel your pain, buddy. I can see. We're going to have to save some money and get us a couple rifles from this company. I love that American-made custom thing. So, okay, guys, thank you very much. Mason, thank you for being with us today. And we'll have to have you back on in a short time. So thank you very much.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for having me. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. And for the very latest, you can check us out at BHK Outdoors Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter. And as always, if you have any questions, show ideas for Dan and I, it is radio@bhkoutdoors.com. Thank you all for being with us today. Remember to join us right here next Saturday morning for BHK Outdoors, your beacon for all things outdoors. Thanks to our producer, Mikey Henniger. And until then, I'm LT.
And I'm Dan.
And may God bless all of you.